the teachers of the demon princes of the dynasty of the Asuras.
All right, students, we have finished our lesson for today. Who can tell me something we have learned? Adula, what have we learned?
Today you taught us that the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Good. Also, our enemy's enemy can be our friend. Darki, what have we learned?
Today you taught us that the most important tool of a leader is power over others. He who cannot be controlled is an enemy and must be destroyed.
Very nice. Now, can we recite our daily meditation for the end of the class? So much wealth we have today. I have gained more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in my future, more and more. He is my enemy, and I have to kill him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. Excellent. Now let's practice our intimidating laugh. Class dismissed. Now remember to keep a lookout for your enemies and even amongst yourselves.
Teachers are gone. Let's play.
Yeah.
Let's divide into teams. Thought to be? Sure about you're with me. I propose that we have all the strong kids get on one team and all the weak kids make their own little team. And the game is to see how badly we can defeat them. If we win by less than 10 points, they have to clean our shoes. And if we win by more than 10 points, they have to give us their golden jewelry too.
Well, that's not fair.
Life isn't fair. This is a good lesson for the real life.
We may not be able to defeat you with strength, but we can defeat you with strategy. Then you will clean our shoes. I want Prince Prahlad to be on our team. He is the smartest among us.
No, Prahlad should be on our team. He is the strongest. I heard that our teachers threw boulders on top of him, and they didn't crush him.
Wow.
Prahlad defeated his enemy using his strong mind. I heard that they threw him in a pit of snakes, and he convinced those snakes not to bite him using mind control.
Unbelievable!
Wow.
My friends, the cause of my resilience is not my physical body or mind.
Then what is it, Prahlad? Please tell us your secret. We want to be powerful just like you.
My strength, as well as each of yours, comes from Lord Vishnu, who is the dearest friend and well-wisher of all living entities. But Prahlad, we're afraid to even speak the name of Lord Vishnu. Our teachers have always told us that he's the #1 enemy. Lord Vishnu is the source of all. He is present in every atom and remains seated in everyone's heart. But we cannot always perceive him because he has two energies, the outer material energy and the inner spiritual energy.
How can we tell the difference between material and spiritual energy?
Material energy, or Maya, is when we wrongly think that this physical body is our entire identity and that the goal of life is to accumulate things belonging to this body. We define ourselves by the country and family our body was born into. Based on this illusory view of life, we mistakenly consider some people to be our enemy and some to be our friend.
But Prahlad, how can we break the illusion? My family, body, country, and belongings are all that I know. And naturally, someone who threatens these things must be an enemy.
When we turn our attention with love to Lord Vishnu, he gives us the spiritual vision to see that every one of us is an eternal servant of God, and therefore we are not different from one another.
so different. The rich and the poor, relatives and strangers, how can we all be the same?
All living beings, even plants, animals, demigods, and humans, are made of the same spiritual energy.
What is that spiritual energy, and where does it come from?
All living beings are spiritual sparks emanating from the Lord, and we're made of eternity, knowledge, and joy. The Lord is like the sun, and we're like the rays of light shining from him.
Oh,
When we worship the Lord, our full spiritual qualities reveal themselves, and our sense of connection to one another becomes stronger and stronger.
Prahlad, can we worry about these spiritual matters when we are older? As princes in the dynasty of the Ashurs, we are expected to study politics and warfare so that we can increase the fame and wealth of our kingdoms.
Yes, plus we're still children, and we want to enjoy life to the fullest.
What is so funny, Prahlad?
The greatest illusion of all is that we think we have all the time in the world. Let's take a look at each stage of life, and then you can tell me what time is a good time to focus on spiritual matters, all right?
Well, certainly the beginning of life is not a good time.
Oh, and why is that?
Well, because in the first 10 years of life, we're still learning how to talk, walk, and dress.
And what about the youthful years?
The youth is not a good time because we have to study and prepare for our profession. That is what we are busy with now.
And when you're fully grown, what then?
When we are fully grown, we will get married and we'll have children of our own. We'll have to raise our children, spend time with our wives, and we'll have to keep all our relatives, neighbors, and subjects happy.
What about when you're older? Surely then your commitments will be less.
When we're older, we want to enjoy our family and our wealth.
What about when you're too old? Too old to enjoy anything you've accumulated.
Then we'll be too old to do anything material or spiritual, and we will just want to sleep all day.
And now, close your eyes and imagine you have arrived at death's door. Every stage of life has passed you by. What have you gained that you can take with you into the journey of death?
Prahlad, we forgot to prepare. We're not ready for this journey.
Yes, the life is short and death can come at any moment. So we must not wait for the right time. From the very beginning of life, we must use every moment for spiritual advancement.
But Prahlad, even if we want to make spiritual advancement, how should we begin?
Oh,
I know how to answer this. Our school teachers have given us religious principles that we perform every day. If we perform these rituals perfectly, we can achieve all of life's goals.
my dear friends, no one can free themselves from illusion without acquiring knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We cannot know the Lord by performing religious rituals.
Prahlad, how can we know the Lord?
The Lord reveals himself to the gentle soul who approaches him with love and devotion. Give up your demonic attitude of seeing some as friends and others as enemies. Become the well-wisher of all living entities, and thus please the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the perception of our ordinary senses.
Prahlad, how do you know so much about Lord Vishnu?
Gather around more closely, and I'll tell you the secret of how I came to know all these things. I have a teacher, a guru, who is not from the school, nor anyone you have met.
What is his name?
His name is Narada Muni, and I met him when I was still a baby in my mother's womb.
My dear friends, what you've heard from my student Prahlad, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu, is indeed true. I accepted Prahlad as my disciple when he was just an unborn baby. I wish to take you further back to a time of great darkness in the universe. You see, in the universe there are powerful beings known as demigods who maintain the order of things for the benefit of nature's laws and the pleasure of the Lord. At the same time, there are always another class of powerful beings known as the demons who seek to overthrow the position of the demigods so that they can enjoy the riches of the universe for themselves. There was once a queen named Diti, the wife of the great sage Kashyapa, who had been warned that her unborn twins were great and powerful demons who would completely destroy the order of the universe. Diti, fearing this terrible outcome, held on to her pregnancy for 100 years. But the two sons could not be contained any longer. They emanated a destructive energy so powerful that it shook the universe. They were demanding to be born. Unaware of the cause of this shaking and burning in the universe, the demigods went to their leader, Lord Brahma.
O Brahma, chief of the universe. O Brahma, chief of the universe, you can see everything. Please tell us what's causing this terrible danger. Please help us.
My children, it may seem like the universe is lost in darkness right now, but I can see this is all part of a greater plan. The source of destruction is the twin sons of Deity being born right now. And before they were twin sons of Deity, they were great devotees of Lord Vishnu that lived in Vaikuntha, the Lord's planet.
And so Lord Brahma did not immediately explain the cause of the destruction in the universe. Instead, he told them of an incident that occurred sometime in the past when the oldest beings, the oldest sages of the universe, went to visit Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha. As they approached the gates of Vaikuntha, they were stopped by two guards, Jai and Vijay, who stood there doing their service to the Lord. And they thought that it was their business to stop these sages, who did not look like sages at all. In fact, they looked like small children. The reason they looked like such small children is that when Brahma created them, the first four beings in the universe, they did not want to grow up because they did not want to become entangled in the affairs of mundane family life. And so they were blessed to eternally appear as young children, and yet they were older than anyone in the universe, and it was not at all appropriate that the Lord's personal attendants should stop these sages from going wherever they should please.
What are you boos doing here?
The oldest living being in the universe. We wish to finally meet the Lord face to face, but you have stopped us out of anger. O sages, this behavior is not befitting a gatekeeper of Vaikuntha. We must curse them to fall from their position so they will learn their lesson. Yes, we agree.
It is quite fitting that you have punished us for neglecting to respect sages like you. But we pray that due to your compassion, you also bless us so that we will never forget the Lord no matter how low we must fall. Lord Vishnu himself, the Supreme Personality himself, has appeared before us.
These attendants of mine, Jai and Vijay, have committed a great offense against you. I support the punishment you have inflicted on them. However, because they did not know my desire, I will consider it a favor done to me if you order that, although reaping the results of their mistakes, they may return to me, and the time of their exile from my abode may not be very long.
O Lord, whatever you desire, we shall accept. Now,
we are sorry that we cursed you.
we are sorry that we cursed your two innocent servants.
O
Brahmanas, do not know that the punishment you inflicted was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will be born in the material realm as demons. Dear servants, Jai and Vijay, do not fear. Although you must depart this place, you will remain firmly united with me in thought through the mystic yoga system intensified by anger. By practicing this system, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying me and may return to my abode after a very short time.
After seeing the Lord of Vaikuntha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the self-illuminated Vaikuntha planet, The sages left the transcendental abode.
Oh Lord, may we will never forget you. When we return to you soon, oh Lord!
Those two principal doorkeepers of the personality of Godhead then fell to the material world and entered the womb of Diti, from whom they were destined to be born as demons to fulfill the sage's curse. Because Lord Vishnu desired their rectification, they would not forget the Lord, but they would remember him constantly in anger. The twin sons of Diti would be known as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha was so powerful that he tossed the earth out of her orbit. Lord Vishnu then personally appeared in the form of a boar incarnation. Lord Boar rescued the earth planet and enjoyed the pastime of doing battle with the demon Hiranyaksha, who could not remember that in his previous existence he had been the Lord's gatekeeper. When Hiranyaksha died in battle with Lord Vishnu, his elder twin, Hiranyakashipu, vowed revenge. Hiranyakashipu foolishly thought that by performing great austerities to obtain the blessings of Lord Brahma, he could become more powerful than Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu thus performed the yogic posture of standing on one leg and controlling his breath for thousands of years. Because of Hiranyakashipu's severe austerities, fire came from his head, and this fire and its smoke spread throughout the sky, encompassing the upper and lower planets, which all became extremely hot. In order to stop him from performing any further austerities, Lord Brahma personally approached him.
O son of Diti, please get up, please get up. All good fortune up to you. Now I may give you a benediction. You may ask me whatever you desire, and I will try to fulfill them.
O my Lord, you are the highest being in the universe, the father of all living entities in the material realm. Please grant me immortality.
I will certainly grant you whatever is within my power, but turning you immortal is not within my power.
Very well. If you cannot grant me immortality, grant me that I will not die during the day or night, whether I am inside or outside, whether I am on the ground or in the air. Grant me that I will not be killed by any weapon, by any entity, living or non-living, or by any enemy on battle. I want sole leadership of all living entities and planets, and all the glory that comes with just a high position. Furthermore, I want all the powers that are normally attained after practicing mystic yoga for thousands of years.
O Hiranyakashipu, this benediction is very hard to fulfill, but very well.
Thus Hiranyakashipu foolishly thought that through his own cleverness he had surpassed the laws of nature and obtained immortality while denying his spiritual existence. Hiranyakashipu, blessed with the benedictions of Brahma, became the conqueror of the entire universe, including the heaven, earth, and lower planetary systems. He then began residing in heaven and took over the throne of King Indra. Even the Gandharvas and sages like myself had to offer prayers to Hiranyakashipu. In spite of achieving the power to control in all directions, and in spite of enjoying all types of sense gratification as much as possible, Hiranyakashipu was dissatisfied because instead of controlling his senses, he remained their servant. Everyone, including the rulers of the various planets, was extremely distressed because of the severe punishment inflicted upon them by Hiranyakashipu. Fearful and disturbed, unable to find any shelter, they at last sought the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, praying to him fervently for protection. Then there appeared before them a transcendental sound vibration emanating from the Lord, who was not visible to the material eyes. His voice was as grave as the sound of a cloud, and it was very encouraging, driving away all fear.
O best of learned persons, do not fear. I wish all good fortune to you. Become my devotees by hearing and chanting about me and offering me prayers, for these are certainly meant to award benedictions to all living entities. I know all about the activities of Hiranyakashipu and shall surely stop them very soon. Please wait patiently until that time. Not far in the future, Hiranyakashipu will harass his own son, my great devotee Prahlad, who is peaceful and kind and who has no enemy. I shall then kill Hiranyakashipu immediately, despite the benedictions of Brahma.
Soon, however, because of the terrible suffering inflicted by Hiranyakashipu, the demigods, headed by Indra, forgot the Lord's instructions to be patient. While Hiranyakashipu was away on a military campaign, the demigods plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu and destroyed everything within it. Then Indra, king of heaven, arrested Kayadu, the pregnant wife of Hiranyakashipu, as she was being led away, crying in fear like a kurari bird captured by a vulture. I myself, Narada Muni, appeared to visit that place and saw her.
Please, I'm pregnant! Let me go! Help! Help! Oh, Indra, king of the demigods, this woman is certainly sinless. You should not drag her off in this merciless way. This woman is the wife of another, and you should immediately release her.
In the womb of this woman is the child of that great demon, Hiranyakashipu. Therefore, let her remain in our custody until her child is delivered. Then we shall release her.
The child within this woman's womb is spotless and sinless. Indeed, he is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, you would not be able to kill him.
O great sage Narada, we will certainly heed to your word, and we will offer respect to the great devotee of the Lord waiting to be born. Queen Kayadu, please forgive us.
I then brought Queen Kayadu to my ashram in a safe and sacred place and began to reassure and instruct her.
My dear child, please remain in my ashram until the arrival of your husband.
O sage, I only wish for the safe birth of my child.
O Queen, your child Prahlad is a Mahatma who will enlighten the whole universe and give great fortune to your dynasty. I wish to instruct you in the most confidential spiritual knowledge, and I bless your child, although unborn, will hear and remember and understand it and learn it all through in his life.
O saintly Narada, I'm grateful for all of your blessings. As long as I stay in this ashram, I will study from you most attentively and be of service in any way that I can.
Kayadu and Prahlad remained in my care, and Kayadu studied and offered service in great devotion. The time came, however, when she was able to safely return to the palace of her husband and give birth to her son Prahlad, where he began to grow up and receive training in the ways of the demons. Hiranyakashipu took great pride in his intelligent son Prahlad and sent him to the school of the two demons, Sunda and Amarka, to be trained in the ways of war and politics. Prahlad certainly heard and recited the topics of politics and economics taught by the teachers, but he understood that political philosophy involves considering someone a friend and someone else an enemy, and thus he did not like it. Once the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, stood his son Prahlad by his side and very affectionately inquired,
My dear son Prahlad, please tell me what is the most important thing you have learned from your teachers.
O best of the Suras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, anyone who accepts this temporary body and temporary household life is always filled with anxiety. Once you give up this position and go to the forest, more specifically,
One should go to Vrindavan. The thoughts of Lord Krishna are always prevalent and should take shelter at his lotus feet.
Thus is the intelligence of children, spoiled by the words of the enemy. There is no one more powerful than me, Prahlad. You should only aspire to be just like me. Sunda and Amarka, find out who polluted my boy with such ignorant ideas, and kill them.
The teachers first inquired gently from Prahlad how he had learned all these ideas, even though he had lived his whole life amongst the demons. They wanted to know which enemy was responsible for polluting his mind. Prahlad sweetly replied,
My dear teachers, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with the living entity's loving service, one becomes a wise person and does not make distinctions between friends, enemies, and himself. He gains true intelligence in things. Every one of us is an eternal servant of God, and therefore we are not different from one another.
Now listen here, child. We're not having that talk around here anymore.
We'll show you who your enemies are and who your friends are.
Sunda and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlad, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways, and again tried to teach him about economics, pseudo-religious principles, and political methods, such as the art of pacifying leaders with bribes and dividing and ruling over your enemies. Then they presented him again before his father.
My dear son Prahlad, O long-lived one, for so much time you have heard many things from your teachers. Please tell me what is the best of that knowledge.
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyamatma Nivedanam. Hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the feet, offering worship, offering prayers, becoming the servant, becoming the best friend, and surrendering oneself unto Lord Vishnu. These 9 processes are pure devotional service, and one who builds their life around them is the most learned person.
Oh demons, take this boy away from me. He deserves to be killed. Kill him immediately. This boy is the killer of my brother Hiranyaksha. He has given up his family to engage in the devotional service of the enemy, Lord Vishnu, like a menial servant. This boy Prahlad appears to be a friend, but he is in fact an enemy because I cannot control him. Therefore, this enemy must be killed by all means.
The demon teachers then indeed set about the ghastly task of trying to kill the small saintly child Prahlad. They brought forth nasty Rakshasa demons to attack Prahlad with tridents. The Rakshasas had fearful faces with sharp teeth and coppery beards. They struck the tender parts of Prahlad's body with their tridents. Making a tumultuous sound, they shouted, Chindi, Bindi, chop him up, pierce him! Prahlad Maharaj sat silently, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The weapons of the demons had no tangible effects upon Prahlad, because he was a devotee fully protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was beyond the perception of the material senses. When weapons did not work, Hiranyakashipu began contriving other means to kill his son, but he could not kill him, not by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants, throwing him among huge fearful snakes, employing destructive spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold, winds, fire, water, or throwing heavy stones to crush him. When Hiranyakashipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlad, who was completely sinless, he was in great anxiety about what to do next.
Despite all my endeavors, Prahlad cannot be killed. He saved himself by his own powers without being affected in the least way by my treacherous actions. He is not even afraid of me and appears to be immortal. Therefore, because of my hatred towards him, either he will die or maybe I will.
Oh, Master, do not doubt yourself. When you simply move your eyebrow, the commanders of all various planets fear you. Prahlad's just a child. Let's keep him locked up within the palace for his whole childhood, then he'll learn our ways.
Very well, very well. Now leave me.
But Prahlad did not learn the ways of the demons. Instead, he always remembered everything I taught him before he was born. Thus, Within the classroom of the demon princes, all the demon princes within the classroom. He continued to enlighten them about uncovering their eternal spiritual identity.
Now that I've taught you everything I learned from my spiritual master, Narada Muni, let's now recite our daily meditation for spiritual success.
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. Hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the feet, offering worship, offering prayers, becoming the servant, becoming the best friend, and surrendering oneself unto Lord Vishnu. These 9 processes are pure devotional service to the Lord, and one who knows their place around them is the most learned person.
What is this I am hearing, Prahlad? A most impudent, most unintelligent destructor of the family. O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you. Therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today, I shall send you to the palace of Yamaraj, the king of death. Prahlad, you know that when I am angry, all the planets along with their chief rulers tremble before me. By whose power has a fool like you become so impudent that you appear fearless before me and overstep my power to rule you?
My dear Father, the source of my strength, of which you're asking, is also the source of yours. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equal toward everyone. There's no real enemy in this world except for the misguided mind and the uncontrolled senses. One who sees everyone equally is a perfect servant of the Lord.
You rascal, you're trying to minimize my value, as if you were better than me at controlling the senses. Therefore, I can understand that you wish to die by my own hands, for such talk is indulged by those about to die. O most unfortunate Prahlad, we have always talked about a supreme being other than me, a supreme being above everyone, a supreme being who is the controller of everyone and is all-pervading. But if he is everywhere, why is he not before me in this pillar? Because you're speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. I want to see your most worshipful God come protect you, Prahlad. I want to see it.
Lord Nrsingadev ki jai! To prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was true, that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor a lion. In this form, the Lord would be known as Nrsingadev. Lord Nrsingadev also kept intact the blessing of Brahma to Hiranyakashipu, for he was killed neither on the land, sea, nor in the air, but on the lap of the Supreme Lord. He was killed neither during the day or night, but in the twilight. He was killed neither by beast or man, but by the Lord's lotus hands. And he was killed not with weapons, but with the nails of Lord Nrsingadev. Manifesting a full effulgence and fearsome countenance, Lord Nrsinga, being very angry and finding no one to contest his power, sat down in the assembly hall on the excellent throne of the king. Being somewhat afraid, no one could come forward to serve the Lord directly. The demigods, as well as the associates of Lord Vishnu from Vaikuntha, came just near enough to offer prayers.
Oh Lord, we know that Hiranyakashipu is the same jade who was cursed to be born as a demon. Now that I've killed him, he's free from that terrible form. Thus you have shown me mercy.
Dear Prahlad, Lord Nrsimhadev is extremely angry at your demonic father. Please go forward and appease the Lord.
My dear Prahlad, most gentle, best of the family of the Asuras, best fortune unto you. I am very pleased with you. You may ask me any benediction that you desire to be fulfilled.
Oh my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant and you are my eternal master. I just want to serve you. I desire nothing from you beyond this. If you at all want to bless me, then I pray that my heart remain free from any desire for material gain.
O Prahlad, though you desire nothing, you will enjoy a life full of wealth and power.
Oh my Lord, since you're so merciful to the fallen souls, I ask for one benediction, not for myself, but for my father. I know that my father was unnecessarily angry at you, falsely thinking that you were the killer of his brother. Thus he committed violent actions against me, your devotee. I pray that he remain free for these sinful activities.
O Prahlad, most pure, your father has been purified along with 21 other of your forefathers. Whenever and wherever there are kind devotees like you, who are all dressed in good, blessed with good qualities, the place will immediately become fortunate and pure. Those who follow your footsteps will automatically be connected to me. Keep being the best devotee.
Listen about Bhagwan Ki! Listen about Bhagwan Ki! The great devotee Prahlad Maharaj Ki! Prahlad Maharaj Ki!
Can we also have our crew on the stage, please, and also Sankirtan, please? All right, let's give them a round of applause. So some of our students, as you may have noticed, played two roles. Nimai was a student and Lord Vishnu. Madan Gopal was a student and Jai, the gatekeeper of Vaikuntha. Partha, a student and Lord Indra. Narayan, a student and Vijay, the gatekeeper. Rahul as Hiranyakashipu and Hans as Lord Nrsimhadev. Purav as Narada Muni and a student. As Prahlad Maharaj, we have Mishti. And I'm going to give an extra appreciation for how many lines she had to memorize. As Lord Brahma, we have Danya. As the demonic teachers, we have Radha Priya and Mahima. Both demigods and the four Kumaras, we have Ethereal, Viva, Vishaka, and Gopal. Radha was Queen Kayadu and a student. And this wonderful pillar was personally created by the Mahadevs, Madan Gopal and Sureshwar Mahadev. I really want to appreciate Sankirtan Dasi for her makeup artistry with Lord Nrsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu. course, our team in the background that you don't see doing all the costume changes in the hallway, we have Democracy, Nima, Premanandini, Nandini, Priya, Bhavana. And then when we're lining up for prasadam, we've created a poster board showcasing some of the essential wonderful quotes of Prahlad Maharaj, which was beautifully created and decorated by Bhavana. Bhavana, please come up. So we hope that you will all take a look at this board and meditate on the wonderful instructions and example of Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to Namaste, Namaste, Naya, Prahlad,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Let's give a big round of applause for all the